Okay, well, apparently my clock has a shut-off timer. I mean, my camera has a shut-off timer to it. You probably turned it off, didn't you? She hates it, because anything that takes away from the next show, she just don't like that kind of crap, do you? Anyways, so my camera shut off, so this is gonna apparently be a multi-part camera. So if it cuts off, you know what happens, and I'll just start over. So my last question that I was currently working on when it shut off was what kind of frames do I use? And I think I answered that question when I told you that I'd use the scroll ones and with the floor stand and everything like that. I also seen some bigger ones that I really want to get. When I get into my bigger projects, they got the really big ones that I noticed through one of my subscribers again. I can't, God, I love subscribers. They're really coming in handy. Anyways, if anyone knows about those PVC, they're just like, yeah, they're squared off white PVC, and they've got the clasps that come around that hold your fabric in. That looks really cool for some of the smaller projects, that might come up, and I really would like to know what kind of frames that is. So if somebody knows what I'm talking about, if they could, like post a link or something so that I can see, where I can find something, that would be really, really cool, and I'd super appreciate it. And I'm certain that you guys will hook me up as you always have in the past, so I early thank you for all your efforts on my behalf. Okay, so that was what kind of stitching frames do I use? I use the scrolls. Okay, now how many projects have I finished? And let's see. So these next three questions, kind of run right into each other. So I'm going to answer all three of them at the same time. It's number 7, 8, and 9, which is how many projects have you finished? How many completed works do you currently display in your house? And do you do more stitches for gifts or keep them for yourself? That's the 7, 8, and 9. It's all basically one question to me. I have never really completed too many projects, as I stated before. I just like to stitch, so I just stitch, and it's lots of fun, cool. But now, since I've been on YouTube, and you guys have really pumped me up and really showed me what I can do, and I'm really getting excited. And my move to the Philippines is coming up, and that's going to free up a ton of time. And I'm just really, looking forward to actually finishing some projects. So I've only finished a few, and those that I have, I think I kept my first one that I ever did just because, look, I can't even actually finish one. It was kind of funny. It's a small little lion. It's really deep. It looks cool. I really like it, but it's nothing really big. I also did do a little angel that I sent off to one of my Filipina friends, and she was in Okinawa, so I guess I'd forgotten about that one until just now, so that would have been the first one I ever did. So anyways, I don't complete too many, but I have lots of plans in the future to actually finish projects now. And when I do, I don't really have many that so right now everything I'm doing, like the dragon from my past ones, that was going to my youngest daughter. My fairy, that's going to my sister, or my niece. And because I guess her whole room's going to be done up in fairy, so I want to get that done and framed and sent to her, and stuff like that. So what else do I have? So the dragon goes to Nikki, the fairy goes to camera, I guess, whatever. I have a few other little things probably going on, but I'm not sure what those. I think those are just basically the fun type things that we like to do. Now, once I get into the Philippines and I start stitching, I think then that's going to be a shift to, I want to finish the projects that I have for other people, and which is why I like to stitch, or it gives me some place to put my stitches after I'm done with them. But now I'm looking at some patterns that I really want to do for myself, and I want to put on my wall. So I think when I get to the Philippines, I'm going to be primarily a little bit of giving stuff away, but I'm going to be doing stuff for myself. So that was 7, 8, and 9. How many projects have you finished? Very few. How many completed works do you have on display? None. What do you do, or no? Do you do more stitching for gifts or keep them for yourself? Right now, gifts. Later on, me. What is your favorite project or finish that you're most proud of? That is pretty cool because it's so far, the one I got done and I was really, really pleased with it was my last video. And that was of the Darth Vader, come to the dark side, we have cookies. I had a lot of fun doing that one because, I was really trying to press and to get it done so I could go back to my fairy. which is now back up there. And you know, just because I have a different, my goals and my reasonings for stitching in the first place have now shifted to actually finishing things. So I was really proud with the Darth Vader one. I put a little bit of effort into it, and it really came out really, really well. I'm so pleased with that one. So, biggest proud of Darth Vader. Okay. What has been your least favorite or worst experience while stitching? Oh, geez. There really isn't any. I mean, how can you have, a worst experience stitching? Is there such thing as a worst? It's like I've done lots of, my daughter I think can answer that one easier than I could, because, I've had to go through a few of hers. I don't mind, like if I make a mistake, or if I realize, and like the Darth Vader one, I got most of Darth Vader done, and then I realized that I had made a mistake. I was off, at the very, very beginning when I was doing the first part of the hand, I missed one stitch, which set the whole thing off by one. So I tore it all back out and redid it all, and I really didn't, it wasn't like, damn, it was kind of like, you idiot. So, I thought it was funny, I just go back. I don't have a problem tearing it out. Now, if I do make a mistake, like on the ferry, I've got one line that I made two, I doubled up one line. So that made it all the way across. And that actually is not too bad. That's not a bad thing. Because for two reasons. One, it makes your project, personalized. There is no cross stitch that any human being has ever done that is exactly like the pattern that they're doing. And invariably, you're going to make a mistake. Even if it's just one stitch, it doesn't really matter. But that is a good thing in my eyes, because, I'm sorry, I play with my nose a lot. I have a long-haired cat, and she sheds. It itches my nose. So anyways, I like it when, like with the fairy one, was really, really cool, because the mistake was on the arm, and I had, like I said, I had an extra row to the arm, but then I would go over and I had to go all the way across in order for it to line up, the wings to line up on the top of the shoulder. I had to do one more line on the flower petal next to the arm before I even got to the wings. So that's kind of cool, because it's like I told you, when I started stitching in the first place, to me, I play a game. It's not, I'm not just stitching, just to see, oh, the pretty colors. What I do it for is, the front is ground taken, the back is casualties taken, don't nose butt, okay? And, so it's, I'm playing a war game as I'm cross stitching. So I have to think ahead, okay, now, how do I do this? And, what's my lines of attack? And, and how do I do that? And, is the trees that you want? Is that your problem here, or are you just being jealous? Whatever. Quit nose button, or you're gonna end up on the floor. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. That's what I did. Oh yeah, so I'm playing a game on my cross stitching stuff. So when I had to fix that mistake, that one line mistake, it ended up being a pretty fun thing, because it, you really got to put into it, a lot of thought and effort. And it was great. I loved it. So I don't have bad or least favorite. It's all part of stitching, and that's why I do it. It's just a lot of fun. So not a problem. Okay, next one is, what do you love and what do you hate about cross stitching? There again, it sounds like to me it's the same question. I just like the stitching. Stitching in itself is fun, and I'm playing a game, and there's just nothing that you can do to hate it. It's a great thing to do. So no hate, love, 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 love. Whatever. Have you introduced anyone else to cross stitching? Yes, actually, because I just answered that one too. As I, the YouTube, actually, it wasn't me. It was me, yes, but it was because of my subscribers that I have introduced cross-stitching to other people. Well, that's amazing that the question would come up, which comes back to the 14 count Adas, and this is kind of cool how everything kind of blends in together. So yeah, and it's kind of neat to be able to, a lot of people see a lot of fun things that they would like to, that would be cool if I could cross-stitch, and it's really not that hard. So I like the ability to help them out and teach them, so that's going to be fun. And I'm sorry she's being a pain in the ass, but that's the way life is. And so now she's going to have to pay for the indignity she's heaped upon me this day. Okay. What was your first project? Did you finish it, or was it? Or if not, what was your first finish? Like I've reiterated again, my first project was the Dragon's out. It's lost in depth of space and time. And if I wish I